Hola mi gente, hello everyone. If you're new here, I am Alfonsina, designer of minimal fashion and handmade goods. Check out my website shopalfonsina.com and ladosimple.com for more info. In this video, I am covering how I keep my meal prepping realistic. It has to be realistic, otherwise it's not gonna work. I personally like to keep my meal prepping as uncomplicated as possible to match my weekly work schedule. As many of you already know, I work for myself, I have my fashion studio, and that keeps me very busy with doing services for alterations and taking care of my clients. So this is not about like an extreme meal prepping or fancy recipes or spending hours in the kitchen. It's not about that. It's just a realistic meal prepping for busy weeks. So when you work in the creative field, it can be very, very busy because for the most part, when small business owners like myself are in the arts, hairstylists, seamstresses, designers, and things like that, our days can look really different depending on the project that we are working on. One project can take longer than other. My work week consists of being pretty much all day in the studio creating, taking care of clients, and then other days I am like filming the whole day, and other days I am running errands. Usually I try to do my errands on Fridays because the weekends get a little hectic for doing errands and that gets a little complicated. But for the most part, my weeks are full. Let it be with clients, let it be with sewing, video editing, recording, and all that kind of stuff, and running errands here and there. And just like I have a dedicated batching system already for my business, I also like to do the same when it comes to my personal side of my life. Because if you do not take care of yourself, no one else will. No skipping meals, no skipping simple exercises, no skipping taking care of our image, hygiene, and all that kind of stuff, because we have to keep everything in place. So having meals already prepped, they will nourish your body and it will be stress-free. I believe that meal prepping should support your life, your lifestyle, and your schedule instead of being like an added annoying task. If it feels complicated, you will not do it. Here is when it gets interesting because obviously people have different ways. The two that I kind of like see more often is like either prepping components in batches or prepping each meal separately in like different containers. So the first one is like you do, let's say, 4 big containers with your basic components, and then you just get them all out every day and then just get a little bowl or a plate or whatever, kind of like a buffet style. That's what I will think. Or just do them individually on each little container. I prefer the second one because I like when I open my refrigerator to have all the meals, like if they come from a, one of those apps or services that deliver the meals to you, and then they come in individual packages. And I also like to have them separated by like breakfast, lunch, dinner. So I know that this is breakfast, that's lunch, and that's dinner. And I also have a very short time for lunch, which is 30 to 40 minutes. I rarely take 40 minutes in my lunch. But the last thing that I want to do is to waste time assembling the plate. I just want to grab the plate, put it in the refrigerator, in the microwave if it's for a warm meal, or eat it straight from the refrigerator if it's a cold meal. It saves so much time, and I have all of my containers are glass, all of them, for the same reason, because I want to be able to have the choice to put it in the microwave or just eat it directly like that. You can actually put the little glass container also inside the air fryer if you are not like a microwave person for preheating. It works perfectly. That is the system that works for me. Usually I prepare 4 basics, and for that I do protein, which is usually chicken or salmon or some kind of like fish that is not like too strong smell. The smell is not too strong because I'm not really, I don't like fish like that too much, but I do like salmon. I know how to cook that well. I also get it from Costco. I already like pre-seasoned. There is a good salmon that is like delicious from Costco. And boiled eggs. I do a lot of boiled eggs. I mean, eggs in different ways, like frittata or scramble or over medium or boil. However you like to do your eggs. I think eggs are so delicious. Even though I still have to figure out why they kind of make like put my energy down. I really don't know why, but that is something I'm probably gonna have to ask a nutritionist or do more research about why my energy changes when I eat eggs, because I love eggs. I think they are so easy, so yummy, and so practical for every day. Like if you don't have any kind of meat in your house, you can pretty much add eggs to anything, to lettuce, to tortillas, to salad, to plantains, to they go like with everything. They're like the cool kids of the meal prepping. And then for carbs, I usually do rice and potatoes. I love me a potato, like a baked potato, and I am also having a lot of fun with sweet potatoes. They actually baked faster than regular potatoes, I have noticed. So that's really cool when it comes to timing in meal prepping. For vegetables, I usually have or eat whatever I have. Like I can, for the most part, I do have broccoli all the time. I do like cabbage as well. I love roasted zanahorias, carrots. Love roasted vegetables or like satay vegetables and onions and all that kind of stuff. Love. So I like to have some of that always available that can pair kind of like a salad. Some sort of green in that dish is always good. And I also love beans. Love having beans available at all times. My favorite beans are black beans, and I kind of like using beans. You know how when you go to Chipotle and then they put the beans on top? I feel like it's the perfect sauce because I'm not a sauce person, but I treat beans like they are like the sauce of my meal, if that makes any sense. When it comes to dressing, usually I like to have a very light vinaigrette just to add a little bit of like flavor on top. So that is like a very simple, that's what I will consider my sauce, either the black beans or a little vinaigrette on top. And that works for me. So once all these meals are prepared, it just keeps everything flowing nicely. Your schedule feels more balanced. And another thing that I have learned is that repetition is very helpful. You don't have to have like different meals every single day. Just stick to recipes that work for you, that you enjoy, and just stick to that. Even if you have to do a little spreadsheet or some notes or something to write down what meals you want to have every week, then do so, because I am the type of person that I can eat pretty much the same thing every single day. Why? Because I try to cook things that I love. I love rice, I love chicken, I love beans. So it's like I could eat that every single day. I love pasta as well, but usually for pasta, I leave that more for like the weekend, and because you cannot be eating pasta like every single day. I don't think that's very good for you. But when I want to enjoy pasta or any kind of fancier meals, I leave that for the weekend. By sticking to similar meals every single week, it removes the decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is real. So we don't want to do that. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, and just keep it consistent. That matters when you have like super busy weeks. It's again, when you work in the creative field, it goes up and down. It goes up and down. One week can be slower than other, but when it's busy, it's busy. In my case, usually prom season is like the busiest season that I have. Then I have like summer weddings and fall weddings. So I'm super busy from like March all the way to September, October. So it's very important for me to have my meals prepped because I don't like wasting time when it comes to food. And usually when I don't have my meals prepped, I end up eating like whatever is there, which is not necessarily fun. I just like, oh, let's just eat whatever leftovers or whatever. But I do like my meal prep to be good because I want to enjoy my meal. I don't want to regret it. When I don't have my meals prepped, is spend a lot of money. Yes, yes. I spend a lot of money when I am not in the mood to do nothing and I don't have any food. I don't want to waste time cooking, especially during the day in between clients. That's a no-no in my case. And then it's like, oh, let's go to In-N-Out, let's go to Chipotle, let's go to Panda Express, let's do. So I'm eating all these foods. Yes, they are delicious here and there, but having that, every time that I eat out, every single day for 1 week, I get sick. So that tells you something right there. Just make your meals at home. I really don't care what anybody says, but eating at home is cheaper than eating out. It is cheaper. So, and more delicious, and you know what you're doing in your house when it comes to the cleanness and all that stuff in the kitchen. When it comes to timing, I usually spend between an hour and a half to 2 hours meal prepping. Cooking the rice, chicken, beans, and whatever veggies or whatever, chopping onions to have them available right away, takes me about 2 hours. But it takes me about 2 hours, and I try to speed up the process when it comes to marinating things. Usually, I put my beans in the crock pot on Friday. Actually today, I'm recording this on a Friday. I'm putting my beans in the crock pot overnight. Tomorrow morning, they are going to be nice and soft. Usually, I like to cook on Sundays for my meal prepping. So they are going to be nice and ready to go for when I assemble my meal prepping. And I put my chicken marinated in a bowl with like all the seasoning that I use on Saturday. Usually Saturday morning, I put my chicken pieces or whatever meat I want to have for next week. I marinate the whole thing for like the whole day, so it's ready for Sunday, and then everything is ready to go. And it rarely takes me 2 hours, rarely, because in the rice cooking, the rice cooker thing, the white rice is done in like 30 minutes or less. So yeah, if I'm being kind of slow, it takes me 2 hours. But that's because all the ingredients are already prepped. Because if you have to sit in there and wait for the meat to get the seasoning and the marinated situation that you put in there, then it's going to take you longer for sure. By doing so, I allow myself to cook 1 day a week. Then everything is in there, in the refrigerator, and the feeling that you get when you have your meals prepped, like, I don't know. It's just like when I get up in the morning, because I prep my coffee maker the night before, because I get up super early. So the last thing I want to do is like put in water and coffee and the filter and whatever at 5 a.m. in the morning. I prep that the night before. All I have to do when I get up is push that button. And I wake up for that experience. I do. Coffee is an experience. It really is an experience. It really doesn't do like anything with the energy and stuff like that. I just love the smell. I love the sound. I love pushing the button. And the fact that it's ready the night before, it just removes that decision out of my life from the beginning of the day. Same thing with meal prepping. When I know that I have all of my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for an entire week, nicely packed, that I don't have to make a decision. I already know what I'm gonna eat, and that whatever I put in there is delicious. That feeling is priceless. What I suggest is, like, if you're starting to do meal prepping, just start simple. Chicken with a piece of veggie, eggs with something that you want to eat your eggs with, potatoes or whatever. Like, don't make it complicated. If you feel like adding a little sauce or a little piece of whatever, or getting a little fancier, then you do it later, once you have already established a system and a routine with your meal prepping. Then you can start getting fancy. When you start feeling like, oh, I'm a pro at this, then let's get a little fancier on our meal prepping. But for the beginning, just prepare things that are nourishing, that are going to give you energy, that are going to sustain your body throughout your work day, and go from there. So just to summarize the whole thing, just keep it simple, repeat your foods, your recipes, cook once a week. And if you are doing the first option of batching your components versus individual containers, then just make sure that whatever you're putting in there is easy to ensemble. The goal in here with these tips that I hope are beneficial to you is to keep our meal prepping sustainable, easy, and that it makes sense for your work. As always, do not forget to subscribe to this channel to support your girly. Share, like, comment, and do all the things that you do in YouTube to help my channel. I will see you on the next one.